Wow.
That's
Well, I was right,
I
Brittany.
really wish
I
I had
know.
something
I
better
didn't
for
think
that.
the Mariners would win the AL West either, but here we are. Welcome back to
Open.
Mariner Mondays. It is a Friday night. Um, you know, deal with it. The Seattle Mariners are hosting the Detroit Tigers in games one and two of the American League Divisional Series here tomorrow, as Jake and Brittany have both pointed out, uh, here at the Hit It Here Cafe. I did not want to disturb Ryan Divish and the rest of the folks in the main press box. I think Ryan would snap me in half if I started doing this in the main press box. Um, yeah, lots happened since our last episode. I think on the last episode that it was just looking ahead to the homestand of Colorado and the Dodgers, the Doyers, and obviously the Mariners get the sweep against Colorado. They get swept against the Dodgers. We'll talk about all of that. Um, Heard from Dan Wilson, Cal Raleigh, and George Kirby earlier. George Kirby being named the starter for game one tomorrow. Luis Castillo La Piedra will go second on Sunday. No indication on game three, but I think everybody and their mother can pencil in Logan Gilbert for game three. I'd be shocked if it wasn't Logan. Um, I forgot that the build submarines thing is still an ad with MLB. They just showed the build submarines. I'm like, are we still doing this? Um,
I've seen it way less this
Brian,
year than last year.
Yeah,
less submarine money. Brian Wu
that's what they want you to think.
seems unlikely to pitch in the ALDS. There's nothing official, but I just remember getting back. I will go back, I'm sure, and get the quote when I write up, my preview for the series tonight. Um, but Justin Hollander provides injury updates at the start of every homestand. He did his final one of the year ahead of the Rockies series opener, right? And Hollander's messaging was basically that this isn't something that would have landed him on the injured list anyway. If it was the regular season and, if they weren't facing, potentially get to rest the guy and then go to the playoffs, right? Now we saw Brian yesterday. He was in full uniform. He went through his whole starting routine. I did all the same breathing things you see him do on a normal start day. He threw a bullpen session. He went down to the dugout as if, it was between innings. And then he went and threw against two live batters. I say live because Leo Rivas and Harry Ford basically just stood in the batter's box. They were instructed not to swing. So it was basically just, please don't hit me. Um, Threw at about 90% effort. Um, Said he felt good, but he said, hopefully in a week's time, we're in a better place. And a week's
Don't
time
like
puts him
that.
the day before game five. So we don't know. And Dan Wilson, of course, is very coy about things. You could say he's holding his cards to his chest. Wouldn't say if he's on the roster. Said that they would know more today, see how he bounces back from the throwing progression, right? Shannon Dreyer asked if the pec is still bothering. Where's my right pec? This side. I know what I'm doing. um or if it's just building up after not pitching, right? Because today now it's 14 days since he left that Astros start down in Houston. um it's just building back up. So I would imagine the CS, but we have to get to that point first, right? So that's a lot of me talking. Um, yeah, I guess we'll go to the emotions of this last homestand. Brittany, since you are in the trees, just
Yeah.
what did you think of the way that they were able to get everything done? Punch the postseason ticket in game. No, they didn't need game three. That's right. Didn't matter.
No,
Punch
Game
the
which
three
was
brought
great.
postseason
them into the
ticket.
bye.
Yeah.
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 Um,
Uh,
Punch the postseason ticket, celebrate like hell, win the
yeah.
next day, win the West. And then I
Cal
don't
hit
know if
60 in the I
Cal
mean, can
hits
you script it
60.
any better? Like,
Hmm.
No.
you really
And then
can't.
my last little bit is if you had any concern with the sweep by the Dodgers, because I know some
No.
people were worried about that. And then Jake, after you, will get
No.
you get your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I'm not concerned about them getting swept. You know, there's a couple, they were rolling, they were giving guys breaks. They gave Naylor some breaks. They gave a couple other guys breaks. Uh, they had done what they wanted to do. They clinched the West, like I think by the after the first Dodgers game, they already knew that it was going to be um that they were going to be the second seed. So no, I wasn't worried about it at all. I think it was storybook. I think it was perfectly well done. I just hope they were able to keep the momentum through this week and that they come out hot and ready to go. Um, yeah, it's I'm completely distracted by you just texting on camera.
Hey man, there's stuff going on. I gotta get
Lock
a
in,
10th button
Charles. What are you
feature out.
doing?
Completely
You know,
distracted.
I'm texting
Um,
with Brian Wu. I'm asking if he's good to go.
yeah, like outside of Brian Wu, I don't know what else there like there's not a whole lot to say other than you hope that the week off was helpful and doesn't hurt them, and you really hope Brian was good. Um, I don't really have anything to add. I'm not just gonna yap for yapping's sake.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't care at all about the Dodgers sweep. They weren't trying, clearly. And they didn't have to. They were already locked into seeding, and so were the Dodgers. Nobody really
Yeah,
gave a shit during that series. It was spring training practically with the roster moves they were making,
yeah.
or the substitutions they were making. Like, who cares? It was really funny that we were the only two teams that were locked into our playoff seeding in that series, besides, I guess,
Yeah.
technically eliminated teams. But we were the only two playoff teams in that series that had nothing to play for, which was kind of fun. Um, very, very chill, very relaxed baseball. The Rocky series was awesome, and I enjoyed watching, though, the wild card series between the Guardians and the Tigers. I'm glad it was extremely stressful for both teams.
For
I'm glad the
sure.
Each
Tigers
other
are
with
coming here
hammers.
on short rest.
Yep.
They got to drag their sorry asses to Seattle. I'm feeling good, and Brian Wu's right peck notwithstanding, don't really understand what's going on there, I suppose, but maybe I'm just not as much of a ball knower as I thought I was. It's
Is
very
there any
strange.
chance there's some like gamesmanship going on here?
Wouldn't doubt it. I mean, they're gonna take every advantage they can, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good question and I've Nutrafol, I guess, is a sponsor, and it says hair growth from within. I take personal offense to that.
Maybe you should
Um,
try it.
Give it a shot.
Sponsor? No, it's a good question, and I've been wondering that too. I've been trying to leave the door open for a hey, maybe they're just messing around a little bit here. Because you think about it, you talk about the bye week and hoping that it just feels weird to say bye week. We're not talking about football. This isn't circling the nest. This is an unnamed football show that Jake and I have to record still. Um,
Any day
you
you're
know,
free.
I got to work on it. There's a lot going on. There's playoff baseball in Seattle. They haven't won the West since I was a few months old. I told Dan Wilson that, by the way, the night they won the West, and he very drunkenly said, "Thanks, Charles. That's great to hear." And I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
"You're welcome, Dan."
That's the appropriate response,
Um,
Dan. Well done.
mhm. Uh, but it was interesting hearing the thought process with the scrimmages, right? Keeping them open to fans, or they capped them about 5,000, and they looked like they sold out both times. I think if not sold out game, the first one that was pretty close. They had the music, they had the jumbotron going, they had the full uniforms. They messed with the lighting because they knew there's a potential of going around 1 p.m., not 1 a.m. No more 18 innings, or like 5 p.m., right? As is now the case with the 5:38 start tomorrow. Um, they wanted to try a bunch of different things, citing, they, I guess, apparently bounced off with Kevin Seitzer and Bobby Magallanes, right, who did it with the Braves. Josh Naylor was saying he's never done something like this when he had, been to the playoffs with Cleveland before. So, it was interesting hearing the different range of response about it, but, managing rust over rest, right? They don't
Did
want
you
to
get
come
any
out and
insight into the advice or guidance from Sitzer? And Magianis, because if I remember correctly, the Braves had a bye and then got their butts whooped.
I'm sure I do have the quotes on it. I think I could dig that up for sure. But it was interesting. Jerry DePoto, if you know him, did a media availability Jake's face during the last game of the regular season and talked about he cited his time with the Angels and about how they, didn't do anything really to avoid the rust and then they got swept.
Mm.
So um I do believe this was a suggestion from Sightser and Magianis. Again, I
Cool.
gotta
Okay.
go through the quotes and I don't want to do that on
Yeah.
camera,
No, no, no.
right?
No worries.
It's a good thing. I'll try to I'm sure I can put that in the preview as well. But yeah, it was interesting to hear how this was something they wanted to do. It was interesting as well, seeing Leo Rivas hit a tank off the LED board below the Hit It Here Cafe. Um,
That
Largely
rules.
going with their relievers in this one. None of the starters. Dan Wilson basically said, "We know what our starters are going to give us. We didn't need to see them in this." Um, so yeah, just interesting to see how they handle that because I've never obviously experienced something like this before, right? This is very new, very different. Um, yeah, man, let's talk about the Tigers. The Detroit Tigers, they come in here, they had this disaster of a September really where Cleveland, makes this comeback and wins the AL Central. They go into the wild card series, as Jake mentioned. They beat each other to death basically in that wild card series, which, if you're a fan of a team that's uh, hosting a division series and you're waiting for a team to come here, say, yes, keep going, keep using relievers, right? So on and so forth. Um, just interesting to see that, you look at them and trying to see they, yeah, they have since the start of September, the Tigers have won two series early against the Yankees in New York, and then the wild card series against Cleveland. Two series wins since the month of September started, um,
Thanks.
including three series against Cleveland um, in consecutive 3 consecutive weeks. That's crazy. Um, yeah, the Tigers are interesting, and it's especially interesting. I don't want to go too far ahead to pitching decisions because I do want to talk about that separately, right? But just very different instances of the season when you face the Tigers, right? First homestand of the year,
Hmm.
uh, before you go down to San Francisco and Victor does his Spider-Man impression. And then right before the All-Star break, where Julio says, "No thanks, bro. I do not want to go to the All-Star game," seemingly wakes up that day and you sweep them aside like it's nothing. Um, since we did Brittany first, I'll go to Jake, and then of course Brittany. What do you think about Detroit coming into this series, or just how they finished the season? Because again, it felt like they were in the driver's seat of the Central for so long. They had Scooble going pretty well, and then there was that one game where he decided to football hike the ball to first base. Um, they're in an interesting place and I can find the exact quote, but I remember seeing um from their champagne celebration the other night when they clinched to advance, right? AJ Hinch basically said we're going back to where we won our first series or game, and it was
First game of the
let's
season, I
go.
think.
I said let's go back
Yeah.
to Seattle, and it was like okay,
Yeah.
interesting. um yeah, Jake, Detroit, uh on their baseball team, not the pizza.
I'm not high on the Detroit Tigers and their ability to win baseball series. Beyond Scooble deciding that he wanted to play center instead of be a pitcher. Um, I'm happy that they're the ones that won because one, you don't want to face a team that's hot in the playoffs. Um, Sample size is extremely small, and even a best of five series like the ALDS, strange things can happen. You can steal three games from a better team than you. Um, and the Tigers, I'm glad that we're facing a team that has spent the last month in abject misery, where the Mariners have spent the last month in glee, winning 17 of 18 games. in that span since the game one of Atlanta. Like the Mariners got red hot right when they needed to, right at the end of the season. Um, the scrimmages, I think, were good for them. I was at the second one on Thursday. There was home runs by Julio, Eugenio, Rivas. It went off the scoreboard. Josh Naylor hit a home run as well, I think. Yep, that's a true fact. And they won't tell you this, but I'm wearing a Toro jersey in that picture. Uh,
Who
so
is
yeah, I
they?
they don't want you to know. Um,
Big
Big
Brother doesn't want
baseball.
you to know about Abraham
big,
Turo.
yeah, big Mariner. Um, so yeah, I'm happy we're facing the miserable Tigers. I think we can pretty comfortably beat them this first game from them. And they had to use Skubal not too long ago, so their first game from them is going to be a bullpen day. Not to jump ahead of things, so I think we can easily, not easily, simply steal a win from them in game one with Furious George on the mound.
Yeah, the pitching matchups are interesting. I always hesitate when I feel like we should absolutely when my gut reaction is we should absolutely take this series. That's when like a red flag goes off in my head. So
That's the Mariners
I
fandom
am
having burned
it
you.
100% like it is a trauma response. I understand that. I am just approaching all of this with cautious optimism. I think I'll have a lot more feel for how the rest of the series will go and beyond after game one. I think that's going to be really telling to see how they come out of the time off. And it's going to be really important, I think, too, to see how Kirby does. I totally hear the reasoning and understand it. Um, you also don't want to put yourself in a tough position down the stretch by slotting it this way. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We'll see what happens. I'm excited and nervous and kind of like nauseated, like all at the same time.
I think that's fair, right? I mean, just getting down here today, the Mariners had a bunch of their front office folks out in front with the Seize the Moment posters, and someone had the Trident. And then I made sure to go and see some of the signage at Hatback and Victory Hall because it's cool to see this, right?
Yeah,
Um,
the sign
and
above the left field gate is interesting.
yes, and then to go see the countdown to that little
Mm-hmm.
trophy at the very end. It's this is exciting, man. I mean, like it's been said, it's been documented, it's been written, it's been podcasted that, you know, tell me if obviously outside of 2001, and even then people make the argument when a Mariners team has had this sort of chance to potentially make it somewhere they have never been.
Yeah.
Um, the pitching matchups are interesting because I can't tell you the last few days talking to Divish and Adam Jude, Tim Booth, and Kate with Lookout Landing saying it's got to be Luis and Logan,
Yeah.
however you want to slot the two for the first two games,
Yeah.
right? And then about like 10 minutes before we were going to hear from Dan Wilson here in the interview room, since it's all formal and, buttoned up for the playoffs. What's that like? Formal and buttoned up. I don't know what that is. And
You gotta
it's
get some
George
tweed.
Kirby. I don't have tweed money. All right. Um, it's very interesting, but the hope, and I'm not saying this is my hope personally. The hope is that you get Furious George back, right? It was interesting. I think Tim Booth asked was like, were you surprised when Dan Wilson told you? I think we've seen George, in some of his times with the media, maybe a little snippy or however you want to put it, really embodying the Furious George. Kind of had a sheepish grin and he was like, nope, I wasn't surprised. I think it's a good idea. And it's just like, that's what you want. That's what you want from, George Kirby,
Yeah.
obviously, let alone your game one guy, right? Obviously, the last time playoff baseball was here in Seattle, it was him. And he came in as a rookie. He looked great against that Astros lineup. Um, but it's interesting. You look at his career against the Tigers. I've got this open in stat head. it's not been great, right? You think back to earlier in the year, um, 4 runs in Detroit, not great, but 2024 sticks out. The 11 run outing, 6 earned,
That's
a 15-1 loss in I think it was August
right.
of 2024.
Mm,
Not too great. You look at some of the guys that have hit him well. Kerry Carpenter, 4 bombs. He's got 4 hits and 8 plate appearances, 4 bombs against Kirby. Gleyber Torres has hit him well. Jake Rogers has hit him well. Then you get into lower, sample sizes, of course.
mhm,
Um, it's interesting, but
mm.
we saw a different George down the stretch seem to get healthier after dealing with what was it, the shoulder, uh, early into the season. Um, so I mean, it's hard to go wrong with the three that you obviously not including Brian, right? It's hard to go wrong with either of those three. Luis looked really good down the stretch. You know what Logan Gilbert can give you, even though he's been inefficient this year, right? Also dealing with a lengthy injury. Um, but it was going to be Louis in one of the two, right? Luis
Yeah.
Castillo, they trust him so much as a veteran guy. He's pitched in big games for them. Um, yeah, I'll open it up. Just any general thoughts on the decision here? Because yeah, as mentioned previously, the Tigers are going with a bullpen game. Troy Melton will get the start, and then Skubal has been confirmed for game two.
Mm.
Um, you've you've hit Skubal well, yes, but the playoffs are a different beast. Um, he also did go 107 pitches
Hmm.
Yeah.
against
Just a few
Cleveland.
He
just a
threw,
few
So
days ago.
yeah, he
yes,
threw a lot.
I'm open to any thoughts on the pitching matchups here because obviously if it does get to a game four, it gets interesting. Do you go with
Yeah.
Bryce? Hope he gives you a few, have Emerson piggyback.
Ugh.
Um, yeah, do you go with someone on short rest? Like,
Man, if that gets to game four, I don't want to be. If we are the team with one win in a game four situation, I don't want to have the Bryce Hancock um, duo there. If we're trying to come
Especially on the
from
road.
behind, yeah,
Yeah.
um, that's pretty scary. I do other. I mean,
Is Brian Wu a break glass in case of emergency? So if it does go to game four, then he's throwing. And if not, and they go three and out, then it is what it is. I don't know. It's
it's
interesting.
an
I
interesting
mean,
question.
hmm.
yeah. Maybe that's why they're playing things close to the chest, because if he doesn't have to go, he's not gonna go.
Yeah,
Well, and you
I,
have to make the decision by tomorrow morning, right?
yeah, and
Like
I
the
think
rosters come out a few hours.
I'd imagine they'll carry him on the roster. If they don't, then that is going to be, yeah, like what the hell do they do in game four? I guess how lucky are they that they're in a position where they can take the guy who was originally going to be like maybe fourth in line and slot him into the game one
yeah,
starter. I mean, that's pretty unique to the Mariners rotation, right? Like when Brian Wu was healthy, we were thinking Wu, Gilbert, then probably Castillo and Kirby slotting in four, and now he's opening game one. So yeah, let's hope that two seam that he has
yeah.
that new two seam grip is absolutely unhittable. The Tigers have a lot of swing and miss. They strike out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and George is the guy you want to strike them out. And I mean, I'll put him up against Troy Melton at the Tigers bullpen every day.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if
Um,
that contributed to the decision too, knowing
yeah.
that the Tigers were gonna, like, we knew yesterday, 2 days ago, the Tigers would have to probably have to do that.
Hmm. I mean, I feel pretty confident for game one, especially with the home crowd. People are going to be mad as hell. They're going to be loud. It's going to be an environment. The day two, Castillo Scooble. Yeah. I mean, we've hit Scooble hard. Playoffs a different beast, but like you said, they've hit Kirby hard
Mhm.
before. But again, playoffs are a different beast. But
You're also at
Scooble,
home.
they're also at home, and that's the thing. Scooble's had trouble at Timo. I think lights too bright. I think crowd too loud. Uh, I think they get under his goat. I don't think I'd be shocked if the Tigers are able to use the pitch comp very much during this series. I think they're going to have to start throwing down signs.
Yeah, you might be
Um,
right.
which I mean, that's the energy we need. I saw a tweet. You need to leave your humanity at the gate. You
Yeah.
have to be as loud, like as so loud that it would make a psychiatric healthcare professional worried about you.
How do you audible in baseball?
I mean, Fangraphs gives us the highest odds of any team to win our LDS,
Feels like a
61%.
trap.
Most projections hover around 61, 65%. Um,
The
fucking
projection
go
I saw
Mariners.
was a number that people are very used to mentioning on Mariners Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that projection. That's the season to date stats version. That one's lame. I much prefer ATC's 63.0%.
That's fair.
Uh,
Um,
go
it's
Mariners.
yeah, it's interesting looking at the splits on some of these guys as well, because I think Adam Jude with the Times asked Dan about, maybe the splits coming into play here. Logan Gilbert 4.74 ERA at home, 220 sorry, on the road, 224 at home. He's your best pitcher at home, which makes things a little bit interesting here. George Kirby on the road, no bueno, 5.16 ERA, 338 at home. Castillo, 260. We know how good he's been at home, right? Um, so it does make that very interesting. I did see Logan out in center field doing his grounding, where he's
Hmm.
barefoot and he's walking around on the grass. So it's part of the routine for him, visualizing all that stuff. So again, I'd be shocked if he doesn't pitch game three. Uh, maybe if you want a conspiracy theory, maybe they're holding out to pitch Brian in game three and they're not letting maybe they're playing it closer to I'm not putting anything out of the realm of possibility. The playoffs are a crazy, scary place where wild things happen,
That's true.
The
you
playoffs
know.
are nothing but anxiety.
Yeah,
It's straight anxiety the entire 9 innings. Pray to
18
God.
innings.
No, don't say it, Jake. Pray to God you keep it to 9.
Oh man. Uh,
Uh,
but I'm not afraid of the. This is gonna bite me, man. I'm not
yeah,
afraid of
don't
the
say it.
Detroit bullpen.
No, that's so true though. And when I was having conversations with some people that are definitely not sitting in the room listening to this about whether or not we wanted Cleveland or
Bald.
Detroit, I very much was strong in I would rather see Detroit. I would way rather see the Detroit bullpen than the
Hmm.
Cleveland bullpen. Um, and yeah, they have Scooble and then name their starters after that.
Yeah,
Jack Flaherty.
yeah.
So
It's like Detroit, and then the bullpen. They've got Will Vest, Brian Hanafy, Brad Herter, and then just a bunch of guys that
a
I've
bunch of
never heard
Paul
of.
guys.
Sewald.
They do have Paul Sewald, who's given them what 4 innings this year.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Who
very
now
weird to
just
see
has
him out here.
he's got no follow through on his leg anymore.
I
I
know.
was
I
watching
saw
that video
that.
of you posting warming up. I was like, he doesn't pitch like that now, does he? And then I looked up videos of this year, and he pitches like that now, and it's really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Sorry,
was
Paul. I love
weird
you,
seeing
but
him out here.
We're gonna hit 30 home runs off you, Paul.
I,
Sorry,
I
bud.
hope if he gets into a game, I hope we hit the
It's
crap out of
funny. I
him.
sent a video of him to my dad today, because my dad's name is Paul, so he naturally likes anybody whose name is Paul. And his only reply is home run time. I was like, Jesus Christ. Um, Two
There's
things
Rafael
on
Montero.
Seawald. They also have Teeter Montero,
Yeah, two
different guy
Monteros.
who some of us thought would pitch game one. Some thought it would be him. Some thought it would be Chris Paddock, who we did see throwing
Mm,
today. And two things
Oh,
about
I thought they
being
have
on
JC Mize. Sorry.
they do.
two things about being on site today. One, Seawald almost gave up a bomb in his like live BP session here, so I don't know how great that feels for him. Two, it was funny to see Mariners general manager Justin Hollander come out of the home dugout, wait for Paul and say, "Hey, Paul," really loudly. I was like, it seemed all very friendly. They had a good conversation, but yeah, interesting for sure. To see that. So yeah, I mean, I will also say too, people have kind of taken the Eugenio working at first base and run with it. I think, if anything, this is a break glass in case of emergency thing. Have somebody there that they prefer, in case you need to lift Josh Naylor for some reason. Uh, you know, uh, like
Well,
he's
they had
he's
Miles
your best
Mastroboni
option.
working over there too, right? Like they're kind of
They've had
circling guys
that.
in there
Mitch
just in
Garver
case.
worked there
Yeah,
last year throughout the
yeah,
season. Like
yeah.
people seem to be freaking out about it, especially since Ben Williamson is on the taxi squad.
Mm,
Um, I would be shocked if Ben Williamson's on the roster.
yeah.
Uh, he just doesn't provide you the positional versatility that the Dakota regime loves, of course. We know that. We've said that on the show before. Um, no, I'd be shocked that people are like, oh, Luke Rayleigh not on the roster? I'm like, no. Oh, they're going through practices. So I will not be showing anything on the field anymore because they're practicing things for tomorrow.
Big Thunder, Nuke Rayleigh hit a home run in the scrimmage.
Really?
He did.
Yes, he did. And
I
my
missed
pick to
that.
be part of the Mariners bullpen, Austin Kitchen, was there too. And he did not cook like I said he would with Brittany.
He did not cook.
He cooked up a big home run. That's what he did. Not good. Yeah, I guess any other thoughts on the DS? Because obviously, we'll have more, I'm sure, is hopefully this playoff run continues.
My oh
Uh,
my.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Might as well.
well,
Win the whole thing. Right? That was it verbatim. That's what he said.
Yeah.
whole
Right? Right?
fucking thing. Let's be adults here.
Trying to
We're
swear
in
Let's
the
less.
say the
Come
let's
on.
Hemisphere
say the fuck
Cafe
word.
anyway. Say the fuck word.
Um.
Um,
Yeah, they were selling that shirt at the team store. Like I might as well. Dot dot dot. And I was
My
standing in the
God.
checkout line purchasing it because of course I was.
Yeah.
And a little kid came up to me and was like, "What does that say?" And I was like, "It says might as well. Dot dot dot. Child. Do you like Cal Raleigh? Okay, that's good. Move on."
Yeah. We call that a redirect.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm stoked.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
go. Let's do it.
I'm I'm gonna run through a wall.
interesting.
The team accounts have been posting hype videos.
Yeah.
The one to Dream On by Aerosmith has got me ready
Yeah.
to just like kill a tiger, like Joe
Oh,
Exotic.
like a live one?
I mean, it'd be hard to kill something that's already dead. What is dead may never die, Charles.
I'd be shocked. I don't know.
Jake,
Jake never fails to amaze me.
yeah. If you told me you had wrestled a live tiger before, I would probably believe you.
Does my orange cat count?
No.
Oh, she got me pretty. Oh, you can't see it at all in my pale ass skin. Wow. Look at that. She clawed me up pretty
Man
good
holds
though.
up
Hold
piece
on.
of white notebook paper and
There we
expects me to
go.
see something on it.
Look at that. She clawed me up real good.
Jesus.
That's totally
God.
that totally is
Ah.
legible.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to think about anything else that, maybe I saw the last few days that stood out. It was interesting to see a whole new, like, I don't know if they're all new, but a whole, like, army of Cal Raleigh torpedo bats waiting in the tunnel from the clubhouse to the dugout. They were all standing at attention. I was like, oh, Jesus.
Is he the only one on the
Um,
team that still used the torpedo bat? I know a few others were trying it but didn't like it.
I know Randy had one.
Yeah.
There's a lefty who uses it. I can see it in my head. Is it Dom? Does Dom use one?
You know, it might be.
Hmm.
He had a breakout year.
I can see
He's
it in my
he's
head.
It's been so interesting with Dom Canzone. Yeah, well, so I mean, what does your ideal lineup look like? It's obviously Cal. Who you're DHing is basically
Dom
the
DH against a righty.
yeah,
Yeah.
Stick with it. Don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
He cooking.
Dom Canzone playoff homers will go crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
what do they have for left-handed in the bullpen? They've got
Ooh,
Herder and
oh,
Tyler
them.
Holton.
Yeah.
You just made up two names.
Neither of those people are real.
Yeah.
Grant Herder has a well, he's got an ERA of 2.43. whip of 133. That's pretty bad for the
Ugh.
playoffs. And Tyler Holton, only a whip of only 1.04, but an ERA of 3.66. I'm guessing he gives up home runs.
Speaking of giving up home runs, Troy Mountain does give up a lot of hard contact. So
This is we're the hard contact team.
Man, can you imagine if that lineup comes out and puts up runs in the first inning?
yeah, it's a good point because so much talk is how loud it's going to be in here, right?
It might
And it
explode. That
was
place might actually
loud.
explode.
It was. I don't want to explode, Brittany. I want to live.
I
Um,
want to live.
I want to live. Uh, yeah, you think about the 22 game, there didn't have a lot to cheer for outside of like strikeouts that George got, or
Yeah.
like the one double that almost went over the fence for was it Julio doubled?
Yeah.
That was it. Like they didn't have a lot to cheer for in the game itself, unfortunately. It was like lots of anticipation, lots of nervous energy, or
And
as Brittany said, all of the playoffs being anxiety.
they shut off the beer in the 7th inning.
But then they reopened it in the 13th,
Oh, did they? That's good to know.
apparently. I
I
don't
didn't know
drink,
there were
and I wasn't
11
supposed
more
to be
innings.
drinking. Yeah, 11.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to
It's
drink
terrible.
yet. No, we were.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I
Let's
shouldn't have
just.
been in a working capacity.
Oh yeah, no, I was at
Just
home.
in the Hit It Here
I had
Cafe.
champagne
Bring
on
me
ice.
another.
Yeah.
Jesus, smart guy.
Um,
Yeah,
Mariners are
no, my
seventh, by the
lanyard still
way, in
stinks.
hard hit percent in the regular season this year. 33.5% of batted balls were hit hard, and 49.8 were hit medium. The Mariners had the actually the third most soft hit balls as well.
Like that. No soft.
They hit
No
it hard and they
flat.
hit it soft. They do not hit it medium. Third
Mm.
fewest medium hit balls.
On
Good
one
way to go
end,
home.
on the other end. All right. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Game one is tomorrow. By the time I imagine a good amount of people see this, it will be today. 5:30 p.m. 5:38 p.m. start time. FS1. Um, the Sounders play later that day, later tomorrow at 7:30. So I will likely show up at halftime tomorrow. They can deal with that. Um, I hope it's not like last time I was at a Mariners playoff game in Seattle where I was planning to go to the Kraken home opener that night. And instead, 18 innings happened. They lost to Vegas anyway, so I guess it would have been fine, irregardless. So, yeah, till we see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Be well, whatever you can to make today a great day.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, how about those Zaps?
Oh, I'm excited.
I know. Where are you going to watch all those away games, though?
Away games. Huh. I was thinking of coming here since, after all, Rough and Tumble is the home of Circling Seattle Sports.
I love that idea. Hope to see y'all here.